Hey, how you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. Once again, it's the Mexican Libertarian coming at you. This time I got a couple of notes down, wrote a couple of notes. I had a conversation with somebody on Twitter that wanted to argue with me. Tell me that our libertarian movement, if we want to get into politics, should be just principles and not a party. And it sounds great, sounds idealistic, it sounds utopian, as a lot of libertarian ideals do. And that's exactly why we are losing out in the mainstream, exactly why we are losing, you know, the war for the minds of the young. The minds of the young are being taken by socialist ideals and communist ideals and lazy ideals and, you know, basically loser mentality. Now I'm a millennial still, born in 85, so I'm a little older now, though I still feel young as ever, great as ever, fit as ever. And so this gentleman that I was talking to wanted to argue with me and say, like I said, that whoever runs as a libertarian should just run with ideas and ideals and principles. And hey, Ron Paul, the greatest libertarian politician of all time, did that. And he did gain lots of momentum, lots of fans, lots of followers for the movement. So I'm not going to deny the fact that in that sense, Ron Paul was amazing. He used his ideas and his ideals, pushed them to the market, explained them to the people, got into the debates, and actually made incredible points, anti-war points, freedom-loving points, individual right points. And yeah, he got a lot of push that way. But we couldn't get him into the White House, where he could have done a lot of help for us. He could have done a lot of good for us all. And I don't just mean libertarians, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, no, man, we don't need a politician that just pushes the principles of libertarianism. We need a strong libertarian party. We need to sit at the table. We need to make our presence felt with a strong national presence, a strong national infrastructure. So I haven't worked out how exactly we need to finance our campaigns, because we are all about freedom. We are all about the free market. But I do know one thing. I'm going to explain what principles are. Because I told him we need the Libertarian Party to be principled. You know? That I agree with. But we don't need principles in a party. He was like, what does that even mean? I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break it down. For me, libertarianism is very easy. NAP, non-aggression principle. You don't steal my stuff, you don't hurt me, or I get to hurt you in return. Always a defensive war. You don't steal from me, meaning you don't get to take my taxes just because you decide you want to take my taxes. You better take me into consideration, meaning that we need to break the system as is and develop a new system. It's time to think out of the box, because China is thinking out of the box. China is well on its way to being the top country in the world, and sometimes as a libertarian, or sometimes libertarians kind of stay away from the whole geopolitical favoritism, even though we live in the United States. But we need to be practical libertarians. We need to be American libertarians and talk to the Chinese libertarians and talk to the Mexican libertarians and talk to the European libertarians and talk to the Canadian libertarians. But we are Americans and we live in America. So I don't care what you say. Even if you're about individual rights, even if you're about free economy, laissez-faire economy, We still live in a country. And I know that a great deal of libertarians don't want anything to do with a country, with a nation, with a state, with a county, with a city. I understand that. But how many of you libertarians watch sports? How many of you libertarians watch boxing? How many of you libertarians watch fighting? How many of you libertarians root for something that's in essence, not real? A jersey of a team is not real. A hat of a team is not real just because they wear a different cloth. But I am a fan. So we need to be proud of the fact that we live in America. We need to give up this whole bougie attitude, acting like we're too good to get in the ring and be politicians, because that's no way to get our principles across. Fine, you want to be a libertarian in your own life and affect only people around you, that's fine. But if you have the voice, if you're popular, if you are the one that has the eyes and ears of the people, then you, my friend, should really be a politician. And I would be glad to push some of you popular libertarians out there because of the fact that you don't want to be. That's the perfect politician, because as soon as he feels that he is no longer being a plus for the community, the nation, the state, he will relinquish the power. So what are principles? Basically, principles are rules that you never stray from. When this happens, I do this. That's a principle. Always, 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 always. The fact that you always do it is the reason you define it as a principle. And why do we need principles? Well, we need principles because that's one less 2, 3, 4, 5 things that you don't have to worry about throughout your day. Therefore, your prefrontal cortex that deals with all the logical thinking and all the reworking of what's going on in your life has more space to function, more what do I call it? More circuitry to use, basically. How do you keep your principles? Like I said, just doing the same thing over and over. Whenever A, B, or C happens, you already automatically know where you stand on the issue, so you already automatically react or, do what you always do in that situation. So, the libertarian ideas are easy, like I said. NAP, non-aggression principle. Don't steal my stuff. Don't hurt people. Don't steal anybody's stuff. And, free economy. The last laws that put a stranglehold on the economy, on commerce, on transactions, on money making or currency making or wealth building or property buying, the better. And some of us are just smarter than others. So the more laws there are, the easier it is to control everything. So in fact, it's not capitalism that's destroying society and the economy and whatnot. No, the laws destroy. The laws destroy. Because a new law that puts on a hurdle for someone to build their company up. For example, I want to be a dentist. But in order to be a dentist, I have to be certified. I have to have a certain degree, yada, 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 yada. In order to be a lawyer, you can't just take the bar test like I believe. I think that you should be able to take certain tests. And I know who's going to give the tests out. Who's going to come up with the test. That's for the future, man. I'm giving you ideas. We should have tests in place that prove your ability, that prove your competency. And if you do pass these tests, You should be allowed to perform and transact in the industry. Period. So I need all you popular libertarians that have a podcast, that have a YouTube channel, that have all sorts of attention to start thinking about being a politician, for the love of God.